Welcome, everyone. I want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you for clicking the link. My name is Ken Scott. I'm the Director of Storage Sales for Cima Solutions Group, a reseller based in Lewisville, Texas. We cover Northeast Texas all the way down in through Austin, up into the Tola region. And I'm here today with Eric Herzog, Vice President of Product Marketing and Management and Software-Defined Infrastructure. Eric, thanks very much for joining us today.
Ken, thank you very much. Really appreciate Cima's work with IBM over the years, and great to talk to you today.
Well, thank you. What we want to do is we want to chat a little bit about the flurry of announcements that you folks have had recently. It's been a very busy year for IBM, especially in the flash space, so let's start there. Earlier this year, you folks introduced the A9000 and the A9000R. Can you tell us a little bit about those products?
Sure. Well, one of the reasons we've done so much in the flash space is IBM sees flash as ubiquitous. In the old days, flash a couple years ago was really for tier 0 high performance acceleration. But as the price of flash has come down dramatically, flash now is for all primary storage workloads. So what we've done is expand the portfolio dramatically. At the end of April, we announced the A9000 and the A9000R. This includes a grid-based architecture, several features that are focused on cloud. So whether you're in a hybrid cloud config, whether you're a cloud service provider, whether you're doing a private cloud, we have things like secure multi-tenancy, thresholding, and quality of service, which are features you need to operate in a cloud appropriately. We have, of course, the full panoply of enterprise-class data services, snapshot, replication, thin provisioning for storage efficiency, of course. And we've added block-level dedupe. We've already had real-time compression and pattern recognition to give you more efficient storage, but we've now added block-level dedupe, which, of course, is effective in about 15% of the workloads that an end user would run, and the real-time compression covers the other 85% of the workloads. We also announced at the same time the DS88, so the 8888, and the 8888 is targeted for those that need the highest reliability, availability, and serviceability, giving you 6 nines of RAS, and that RAS capability works out to be only 31 seconds of statistical downtime in a year. So again, broadening the portfolio dramatically, into the cloud side, as well as adding block dedupe for efficiency, and into particularly the mainframe side and the upper end of what's left of the Unix world for those that really need 6 nines of availability, yet want the incredible performance of flash technology.
Wow, it's been busy. That's a lot to deliver. Now, you had mentioned with the A9000 that it's a grid architecture, so that uses the Spectrum Accelerate platform, right? That's the architecture that was originated out of the XIV system. Is that correct? And if
right.
So, why'd you choose that?
Yeah, so the base code is from XIV. There's some significant tweaks to that code to optimize it for all flash. We selected that code because it's a grid-based architecture. So in today's environment, you need to both scale up architecture and what's known as scale out. So scale out means grid. Our scale up is our V9000 family flash system, our StoreWise V7000F, and our StoreWise 5030F. That gives you a scale up configuration, but using the XIV code base allows us to do a grid-based architecture, meaning scale out. And so you need both of those solutions. Scale out is particularly well suited to public cloud, private clouds, or hybrid cloud configuration, which is why we chose it and why we also added those other cloud capabilities, as I mentioned earlier.
Well, clearly the XIV has been an outstandingly successful platform for IBM for the years that you folks have had it. Obviously, you ported over the GUI from that platform and now are using that base as the high availability and grid design for your flash systems going forward. So I think it's a wise choice. So what would you say to the folks that might look at IBM and say, hey, they're just now introducing data deduplication when we've had that for X number of years? So how do you discuss that with clients who are saying, well, you're late to the game?
Well, there's a couple things. Most of the companies did block-level dedupe for data reduction because of the inherent unreliable flash systems they produced. Flash does wear out. IBM with our V9000 product are also in our A9000s and in our Flash System 900. We use custom flash modules. We build these modules from the ground up with proprietary technology that allows us to give extended wear leveling and reliability and durability. So as an example, we offer a 7-year media guarantee on our flash systems family. No other vendor does that. So in the old days, they did block level dedupe for two reasons. One, they thought flash was expensive, and our custom flash modules has always given us an advantage, not only in performance and durability, but also in density. So we can, for example, put in only 2 RACU, 57 terabytes usable, fully usable today, and that's without data reduction, whether that be compression or block level dedupe. The other guys put block level dedupe in though years ago because there's no way they could offer even a 2 or 3 year guarantee because of the capability of flash to wear out. And we fixed that, so we didn't need the block level dedupe. When you look at it from a workload perspective, what are the applications and workloads that people use? The reality is, from a workload perspective, only 15% of the world's workloads, particularly virtual desktop, and to a lesser extent, virtual server containers, basically the virtual machine itself, not the apps that sit in your virtual machines, but the virtual machine infrastructure itself, get some benefit from block dedupe, but the rest of the world's applications do not. So the main impetus from our competitors was because of the unreliability of their flash versus the inherent reliability we've had in ours.
I agree that data deduplication is an often misused leader in the sales effort because if you think about flash, it's optimal for database environments, and as we know, databases don't dedupe, they compress. So
exactly. And we now have block level dedupe in the A9000. So if you want block level dedupe, you have a VDI workload, the A9000 is the ideal solution. For other workloads, the V9000, the storage. The other thing we've done is expand the price portfolio. So the V5030F is a very low cost, very cost effective all flash array. It's at least 10 times faster than a traditional hard drive array, if not more. Now our flash system, for example, the A9000 or the V9000 are faster than our Storewise family. But at the same time, they're also more expensive. By the way, this mimics what all the end users are used to in their traditional hard drive and hybrid array. They had entry products at an entry price, mid-range products with mid-range performance and mid-range price points, and higher-end products with higher-end performance, higher availability characteristics, and at a higher price. So we're doing that now in the all-flash world and can do it at the same price, if not lower, than if they bought a traditional hard drive array. So it's a win-win for all workloads.
Mentioning the V5030, I heard that you actually have even more announcements planned in the Storewise family. Is that correct?
Yes. So actually next week on August 23rd, and if you go to www.ibm/storewise or into our main storage page, either way, you'll see an icon. You can click on that link. It talks about our coming launch. It will be at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on August 23rd. So we'd encourage everyone to please listen in as we continue to broadly expand our portfolio across the flash landscape to meet all of the application, workloads, and use case needs for primary storage for our users, whether that be a virtual environment, a cloud environment, a cognitive environment, or traditional data center. We can provide flash at any price point, performance point that they're going to need.
Not to be outdone, about 2 weeks ago, you made even more announcements in the Deep Flash 150, which is, as I understand, was an announcement in conjunction with yet another partnership that IBM has to satisfy big data workloads. Is that correct?
Yes. So what we do is we couple the big Deep Flash 150 with our Spectrum Scale. Spectrum Scale is an award-winning parallel file system that we've had for a while.
So that provides the file capability. Is that correct?
The file capability. We have over 5,000 customers deploying that, ranging from traditional high-performance computing environments into enterprise big data applications or workloads. It's ideal for big data analytics, for genomics, for life sciences, for oil and gas, and a number of other applications where the parallelism of the file system is important to delivering those workloads. Key thing is, a couple of years ago, you never would have made an all-flash configuration. It would have been too expensive. But now with the cost of flash where it is, you're looking at a street price of between 80 cents and $1.50, depending on which version of Spectrum Scale you're buying, to give those big data analytic workloads, the genomic research, the oil and gas, the life sciences, all kinds of different workloads where big data analytics is critical and where you need that scale-out file capability, which comes with Spectrum Scale.
So are you delivering that, closing the gap between disk and flash by delivering scale-up and scale-out solutions, or are you implementing the data reduction? What's your key lead to help close that gap for folks who are considering, well, I've always been a disk storage buyer and I can't afford flash. So what would you tell them now?
So a couple things. One, we have a number of different price points, the right tool for the right flash workload, just like it used to be the right tool for the right hard drive workload at multiple different price points. We're doing the same thing now. We have both data reduction technology, real-time compression, block-level dedupe also in the A9000. We have thin provisioning across the entire portfolio. All those things are designed to increase your storage efficiency and lower your net costs. But one other thing they did do with flash is think about the impact, not on storage, but on their data center. So for example, when you go to an all-flash configuration, you usually reduce your rack space, your power requirements, your cooling requirements, the number of physical arrays you need. That impacts, of course, your operational expense on a day-to-day. Instead of swapping out, in order to get 200 to 300,000 IOPS and maybe 4 seconds of latency, you would have to buy 1,000 hard drive array. We can dramatically outperform that at 1 million IOPS in just a single array, forget when you aggregate them, and latency at 100 microseconds versus multiple milliseconds. And that's in the price point from 200,000 on the low end up to maybe 600,000 on the high end. But that 1,000 drive hard drive array would range from $1 million to $8 million. So you dramatically cut your cost because you don't need all those hard drives. When you don't need all those hard drives, your operational expense goes down, management, configuration, replacing drives wear out. Flash doesn't wear out as fast, especially because of our proprietary wear leveling technology. Bottom line is flash will dramatically lower your data center or cloud costs from using hard drive arrays, and you need to look at it holistically. But even if you want to look at it at a microcosm of just the array, the price points of all flash arrays are completely competitive at each price point, so entry, mid-range, or high-end, with their equivalent hard drive arrays of 4 to 5 years ago on a cost per gigabyte basis. So that alone makes it worthwhile looking. When you look at the impact, let's take an example. We have a customer, end user, SAP workload, so traditional SAP data warehouse. To run the workload used to take 30 hours. When they went to a flash system product, they were able to run the exact same workload in 30 minutes. So that's got a big impact on the business. That's what flash delivers, as well as truly infrastructure savings on your server farm, your power and cooling requirements, and all those things. So flash is actually, from a data center perspective or a cloud perspective, substantially less expensive when you look at it holistically. But even if you want to look at it in a microcosm, it's totally competitive with a traditional hard drive array of the past.
Well, they always say time is money, and clearly if you're able to deliver that workload in significantly less time, businesses ought to take advantage of that and see what more workload they can get done, and there's a value associated with that. So that, combined with the architecture, the life cycle, the data reduction capabilities, I can see why you're as competitive as you are now with the flash products compared to disk offerings. So that's a great message. Now, more than 10 years ago, IBM became clearly the de facto leader in the software-defined space with the introduction of the SAN volume controller, which I think you've now retagged Spectrum Virtualize. All these flash products are 100% compatible with that architecture and that messaging. Is that correct?
Yes, they are. So if you have a SAN volume controller today, and there's over 12,000 customers today that have those, all of our flash products, whether it's the DS8888, the flash systems, or the StoreWise family, can work with that. Now, of course, the flash system V9000 and the StoreWise products, the V7000F and the V5000F, come complete with Spectrum Virtualize already. So you can buy Spectrum Virtualize as a software-owned configuration. You can buy Spectrum Virtualize embedded in the SAN volume controller and put various arrays behind it. By the way, as you know, Spectrum Virtualize supports over 380 arrays that are not IBM logo.
Right.
So heterogeneous customers, if you want a real way to save costs, capital expense, for example, take that older EMC or Dell array that was great 4 years ago, but now is still workable but slow. Move that into tier 3 or tier 4 workloads. For tier 0, 1, and 2, use a Spectrum Virtualized configuration, use a flash system V9000 or one of the StoreWises, and you can extend the life of that older array, saving on capital expenditure, and at the same time, one way to snapshot, one way to replicate, one way to do data at rest encryption, and we can even migrate data from those EMC or Dell or HP or NetApp, or again, over 380 arrays to our array, or from HP to Dell, from Dell to EMC, from EMC to Hitachi. And that's all built into the Spectrum Virtualized family. So talk about a way to optimize, particularly in a heterogeneous environment, Spectrum Virtualized, the SAN volume controller, the V9000 in the flash system side, and the two StoreWises, the 7000F and the 5030F, all allow you to not only get the advantage of flash from a performance and a cost savings perspective in the data center, but couple that in a heterogeneous environment with how do you optimize the older arrays that are still good, but they're definitely way slower than flash. So go ahead and put that into a backup or archive tier and let us handle that for you. And then we can extend the life of the older array, saving CapEx. And from an operation perspective, we can handle all the data services, including encryption, with the Spectrum Virtualized families. And then you don't have to worry about one way to snap, one way to replicate. And if you definitely in a larger company, as you know, global enterprises often have at least 3 vendors of storage. Talk about a way to operationalize and dramatically improve that operational process and cut software licensing fees. Wow, 1 license instead of 3, 1 way to do all the work instead of 3, 1 set of training for the IT guys instead of 3 sets of trainings, 1 set of written operational processes, which probably in the upper mid-sized company, the global enterprise, they all have written processes. 1 way to do it, not 3. So big savings for everyone with this.
Yeah, the investment protection message on your virtualized product is without compare. We actually love that solution here at Cima Solutions Group. We've deployed several clients on that platform. And in fact, we're doing one right now with a client that purchased a couple of large EMC arrays to do some file level workload. And they moved that workload off to a different platform. And now we're able to repurpose those arrays, combine them with virtualize and some flash, and make them available for a totally different work set. And they were extremely pleased with the ability to not have to throw those arrays away because they still had book value on them. So investment protection is clearly something that is brought to the table with this solution, and now being able to turbocharge it with the functionality and the performance in flash is outstanding. So
excellent. We love that.
What would you say to the client who really has not really given IBM a chance, as they're looking forward to their increasing storage needs, but have never really put IBM on the short list of companies that they should consider? What's the message that you would say to them to say, give us a shot, we'll be competitive, we have the solutions that meet your needs, with the features, functions at the price point that'll be good for you?
Well, we're like Rodney Dangerfield. We get no respect. To be honest with you, the number 2 storage company in the world is IBM. When you look at our software-defined portfolio, our storage system portfolio, flash, our older traditional hybrid arrays, what we do with backup, Spectrum Protect, leader in the Magic Quadrant, our flash arrays, leader in the Magic Quadrant, our hybrid general purpose arrays, leader in the Magic Quadrant, awards all over the place. But according to IDC, the number 1 storage analyst firm in the world, the number 2 storage company on the planet is IBM. So we try harder like the old Avis, and anyone who hasn't given us a shot ought to. We're number 2 in the world. We're number 1 in software-defined storage. We're number 1 in several other categories. Broad portfolio that all works together. We are a number 3 supersize, to steal from McDonald's. Burger, fries, and a shake all goes together. Tastes great and satisfies your appetite for everything you need in the storage space. Backup, archive, primary storage, secondary storage, low price points, expensive stuff that does everything but brush your teeth for you. We've got all that at IBM, and that's why we're number 2 in the world. So we deserve a shot, and we'd love to go talk to people about their business, just like the old Avis ad. We try harder because we're number 2. We're number 2. We do try harder to deliver the right solution for every application, every workload, every use case, whether you're a traditional data center, a cloud, using big data analytics, whatever you're doing, we're the ones to do it with you.
Well, I argue you dropped all the coin phrases and referenced plenty of other companies. If they listen to this, no doubt you'll get an email saying, hey, thanks for the shout out. And I want to say thank you also for the shout out, and thanks for the opportunity to chat with you a little bit today about IBM's exciting flash portfolio. I wish you all the best, and we look forward to selling your solutions out in the marketplace.
Great. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we look forward to making your customers